If you all behave yourselves, we could, yes. Right. Is everybody happy to proceed? No comfort breaks or anything else? Right. Welcome to March's council meeting. It's only been a few weeks since February, so it's quite a short agenda, so hopefully we can push through it quite quickly. I'd like to remind everybody that this is being filmed and recorded and reported in the press or online. Apologies from Councillor Parsons and Chairman. Hence I'm sitting here. I knew somebody was missing. Declaration by councillors of personal interest in items on the agenda. Are there any?
No, I don't know which footpath 62 is in case it has anything to do with me.
Critchless Lane,
Oh.
but it's not part of yours.
Okay.
It's the
no,
other side of
no.
Highly Road, moving up towards the
I
end.
have no personal interest, so.
Okay. Any questions from the public? No. Minutes of the last council meeting. I wasn't there, so could I ask for a proposer, please, and a seconder? Right, matters arising from the above minutes not dealt with in separate items below. I don't believe there are any, which then leads us on to, for the West Sussex County Council, Councillor update. Mr. Montyn, please.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Thank you very much. Let me start with saying that I haven't had a chance really to read through the application that you're making for the 20 mile an hour, and I promise you I will the next 24 hours.
Sorry about this.
But I do support it, that I need to read it and then write a note to Alison that I support it, and I promise to do that in 24 hours.
Anything you can add to it as well?
So, but you do know it's going to take quite a long time. Because
Yeah.
we pushed it through in Itchenham and in Birdham, and it took us somewhere between a year and 2 years because the legal process gets quite involved, and in particular it has to be publicly advertised as well. I know that there was a local survey done, that's fine, but it also then needs to be publicly advertised. That all takes time, there's a set period, so all that, I'm afraid, will take a while. But I don't, well, it's not for me to say, I wasn't like that. There will also be a survey being undertaken, a speed survey of average speeds, and somewhat counterproductively, if the average speeds are well above 20 mile an hour, they won't do it because that means that people won't observe it, as you see. So the average speed survey is quite important actually. And I forget there's a margin within it, has to run within that upper margin, of course. So that all has to be done. But barring that, I support it. So I'll respond tomorrow. I'm very grateful to Councillor Johnson. She first told me about it, about the traffic hold up last weekend on the road by the junction with Keynor Lane and the repairs of the wall there and the lights and so on, which clearly was completely unacceptable. So after, and I'll cut a long story short, but after a lot of exchanges with the lady officer in charge of the actual traffic management in the country, I think a fairly sharp conversation took place with the contractor and with the people operating the lights, that they must stay within the licence that they have, which is if they stop working on a Friday and don't start the next Monday, they should take the lights away. So I hope that will happen this weekend, because I asked them how long is that licence for, and it's till the 19th of March.
Well, they stopped working tonight and the lights have come down.
Well, so it's obviously because they're not working, but maybe they'll come back again. But, so they are, at least in my understanding, now, what's the word, observing the licence that they have, and I hope it will stay like that. The one that bothered me most was the weekend, so it's 2 whole days, and so they really have to rule it. But the thing is that the licence extends until the 19th of March, which I think is tomorrow, isn't it? Yes, it is. Yeah. So that's that one. I've written to you about the bigger issue about the gas pipe replacement in down Donnington, and I hope you've circulated that to all the members. I find it incredible to understand that that pipe was laid in 1940 when there was a World War on, although it was still the Shadow War, but that's how old it is. It's over 80 years old. And so health and safety requires that to be replaced, I think, by 2028, maybe 29. But that's, and it's happening here, in Pagham, in Bognor, and in other places I hear about, in Worthing as well, everywhere they're doing it. And it's everybody agrees that it's a confounded abuse and it's good it has to be done. There's no escaping it. And so what I've written about is how it affects us here on the peninsula, and I include actually in that. And Don is aware of that, Councillor Johnson. So I wrote that paper because I really thought it was time that we began to understand the problem that both Scotia Gas Networks, SDA, and the Council have, until they have actually agreed the licence, the exact terms of it, they can't really go public on what they're going to do. So I've had enough of that. That's why I wrote what I did. And officers, I said, they haven't trodden on professional toes. No, they said it's quite all right, which is very fine, very helpful. So I keep pressing them to hear more about what they're going to do. And so at the moment, it's really predicated really on how they're going to deal with the buses. I'm talking what happened in October, not happening now. Yeah. What happens in October, I'm sorry. So when they want to close the road altogether for up to 7 weeks in Donnington. So that involves quite a large detour, which everybody will have to follow, buses in particular. And so the thing that bothers me, and which I think you're aware, is that people working in different silos, is that the Redrow, Barrett's Redrow site in Birdham, it's on pre-commencement condition, it's called number 8, which is all about traffic management and other management. Talks about somewhere between 20 and 30 HGVs at peak time entering there and leaving. So that's between 40 and 60 movements a day at peak time. What they don't say is when peak time is or how long it will be. So I've made them aware, and I made County Council aware, to look, for goodness sake, talk to each other, because we cannot possibly allow all that HGV movement while that diversion is in place as well. We just cannot have that. So I'm trying to get an update on it. I haven't had it, but there will be a Teams meeting next week, so I hope to get an update before then. And if we do, it will be a Teams meeting accessible to many of us. So I don't know, but that's really what I'm actually determined to keep pushing on. I cannot have that. I know some people are concerned about people who are less mobile on their feet and how they're going to get to the buses, but the point is that to move the bus stops as little as possible, so some will gain in the distance, others will lose the distance they might have to get to the bus stop. But essentially the bus stops will be there, that's in Donnington itself. So that's, I think, all I have to say about that.
I'd just like to, I don't know if you're aware, there was another accident on the Sidlesham Parish Junction.
Yes.
About 10 days ago.
I'm very well aware of
how quickly
I'm aware of that, and so when it comes to moving the traffic down the Selsey Road and then back to the road to Donnington to avoid this works, let me just take a step back. When you move traffic off a certain classified road, they want to move it to roads in the same classification. So there's no A road, it's the A286, so on the B road. But if you then want to move across Green Lane, that's not classified as a B road. So they're saying, we'll go down to Sidlesham and come the way up. And I said, you can't do that. That's almost like a U-turn, and there's an accident there. It's not the first one. So that's another one I'm pressing on. And I don't want them going through Watton's Lane, because that's got a width restriction as well, which I think they've forgotten. So I haven't really pointed that out. So I'm trying to keep as close to it as I possibly can, but I've managed to build up a bit of a rapport with people doing this. So I don't know, we'll just keep pushing. Because it will require two entities to cooperate. One is the bus company, who will probably say in this. The other one is whether the Redrow, Barrett Redrow, where they're going to move their time on this maximum movement of HGVs, you see. Yeah. So there's some
Moving charges.
moving parts in this, so we'll have to see. We'll have to get to that. Otherwise, I told you about the county's budget last time, so that's there, that's done. I think a little bit of relative good news is that although nationally flag taking is getting worse, we're bucking the trend in West Sussex. It's not as bad as it was, it's getting worse, in case it cheers you up.
There's a nice,
Do keep an eye, it
there's a
doesn't mean
nice
it's gone.
pile in Rotten
No,
Row,
it
which
doesn't
I
mean it's
keep
gone, it
forgetting
doesn't mean it's
to
gone. But
photograph
But
and
when you read
tell you
about how
about.
awful it is everywhere, it doesn't include us. So it just, I thought it was moderate, cheer you up, that's what I go in a minute. Otherwise, of course, just it won't have escaped you that we're moving towards the election on the 7th of May. So there's a certain feeling of end of term, I can sense in the county council. We've got our last council meeting on the 27th of March, and various motions coming in, and so we'll have to see to what extent we can tidy that up and before it falls to me to chair that. But before we all go away and start electioneering,
Yes,
can I just ask everybody to remind others, people, to register themselves to vote, either to vote or postal vote. And I really can't urge that enough, because always there are people who forget about it or are not interested. I really, for everybody's sake, do make sure people register.
Can we just?
So I think that's, unless you have other questions, that's what I want to leave it. Because I've got to go in a minute, as you know. There's still a bit of time, so do pose other questions. But
Have we got any further questions?
I would just like to, so when you talked about these HGV movements in Birdham, where exactly did you mean? For the site opposite the Birdham stores?
they'll be coming from the A27 and going to the place opposite the Birdham store.
Opposite the Birdham stores,
Yes.
because that seemed to have all sort of come to a little stop.
Well, no, it's come to a stop because they haven't got the discharge of two remaining pre-commencement conditions.
Okay.
They got the pre-commencement one about the surface water management and other
You mean the
issues.
flooding's gone away?
Well, no, they've got that. It's a site. But what they haven't got yet is the sewage disposal. Haven't got that yet. And the other one is called the CEMP, which is the Construction and Environmental Management Plan, which means that all the contractors have to park on the site
Right, okay.
and not in the shop parking anywhere down the streets because they can't. And also things like the traffic movement of the truck.
Thank you for
That's
clarification.
pre-commencement
Yeah.
8. So those are the two that haven't been cleared yet. And so I keep writing to Southern Water, which is the other one I get off my chest about it, and they just will not tell me what they're doing about dealing with the upgrade of the sewage network, bearing in mind these 140 houses. This is like talking to a wall, but I didn't get an acknowledgement. And I'm writing somebody quite senior, so I'm not to get a little room, actually.
Is there something similar going on at Earnley? Because the site round
Yes,
that...
there is.
That has come to a stop, hasn't it?
Well, there's more. At least they're having a conversation with Earnley Parish Council about that. They are about Earnley and the 100 houses in Campus Lake. But I'm just not getting a response at all from them. I think they think that they got 2 years to sort it out from the moment that building starts, and so that's enough time to think about it. But I tell them, if you don't deal with it, we'll have another Clappers Lane situation.
Yeah. Thank you.
So sorry about that.
Mr. Chairman, I'll just go back and talk about average speeds. There is actually a monitor on the Pagan Straight, I believe. There's a box there. It does the traffic automatically. So that we've always had that.
No, but they actually lay, I think they lay cables over the street and they get the time of the day and all of that.
Yes.
And types of traffic.
And
They actually do a survey, this day, that's the county council, do a survey rather than take information off your seat.
it's not our own thing that I'm talking about. It is one that's been put on the roadside.
No, but they will be measuring average speed.
Yeah.
Again, it's over, and I think they do it over 2 periods, I seem to remember. Avoiding holidays or weekends and so on.
School.
No, but they do it over, I seem to remember they do it over 2 distinct periods. Or even it out.
Right.
I just wondered if there was an update on the actions following the flood and the sewage issues around I just wondered if there was an update on the remaining actions associated with the flooding on Highley Road and Keynor Lane, and also the sewage items that were raised previously, and whether or not they, because I've not seen a published plan, and I'm assuming there are lots of remaining actions on the tail of those incidents.
We were going to cover that under item 8, item 9, but
No, I haven't done any more, but it does remind me on the main, this is not what you're asking, but on the main road opposite the SO station and that, but again with officers we're pressing Southern Water to tell us what the problem is, what they're going to do about it. Again, we'll bring back the silence.
I think we need to establish what the problem was with the sewage.
No, so that's what we're asking for.
Yeah, they have
pressing,
they've cleared it for the time being.
I'm pressing very willing officers because they're not getting an answer.
And as for the flooding, thanks to Mrs. Montyn's, Councillor Montyn's son,
No.
who got his machinery out and rammed it through, it got the right flow again. What the clerk has done is established who is responsible for what. The Environment Agency is responsible for the Rife.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the main river.
Those who have ditches running through their gardens, if it's just through your garden, it's yours. If you share with somebody else, it's 50-50. With Highley Road, there are some grey areas because
I think
some
in the
properties.
last meeting, I think there was a discussion about what was remaining going towards the Keynor end.
That's right.
Where it goes underneath,
Yeah,
where it's hidden.
you're quite right.
And you were saying that there was some additional actions and
You're
investigation,
quite right.
but we didn't, like, we have to see it on the next
And I
opportunity.
have no answer to that. You understand that.
Yeah.
I'm pressing that one as well. I really am.
So I think the thing is, it is being addressed. We're doing our best. I noticed the Rife when I walked down this afternoon. There's somebody been walking down there, picking up rubbish and chucking it to the sides. Great, as long as the wind doesn't blow it all back in here, we're fancy again. But anyway,
Would you forgive me?
I always do. Thank you very much indeed.
See you on this side of the election once more, I think.
That's right.
You got one where I'll be March and one in April.
Yes.
Right. All right. Thanks.
Right. Let's move on to item number 7. Councillor Johnson.
Okay, I have to say there's not a great deal to report from CBC because it's been budget making time, so it's all going that's really what's going on. There's a little bit of acceleration because of LGR coming up, so there are some projects up there that don't impact Sidlesham, to be fair.
So just for clarity, LGR?
Local government reorganisation.
Reorganisation.
We are expecting tentatively that the government will make a decision with regard to how the unitaries will split within the next week or two. Quite hopefully next week, but you can never be sure with this government. So it was interesting actually because I was there's a sort of split. West Sussex County Council wanted one Pan-Sussex unitary, which was in major conflict with all of the other districts and boroughs across West Sussex who wanted two. But I was at Cabinet yesterday for West Sussex County Council, and the leader of the council felt that actually the Brighton proposal was gaining traction, and that's for 5. So I think at the moment it would be most disappointing if they chose that, because it really, the proposal looked like someone had just written it on the back of a serviette while they were at McDonald's.
So is everything else in
It's
Brighton.
shocking, absolutely shocking. And of course they haven't actually negotiated or had conversations with any other Ds and Bs or anything. So that, at the moment, everything is up in the air, and so nobody really knows what's going on. And of course with the elections, to be honest, it's complete chaos everywhere, absolute chaos. No one knows whether they're going to be there, not be there. It's just chaotic. But anyway, that obviously impacts people like West Sussex, but it doesn't impact district because that doesn't happen until 27. So really, there's only 2 minor things really that impact Sidlesham.